World of Warcraft is full of NPCs, man. You got quest givers, patrollers, innkeepers, citizens in all the cities and towns, merchants. You could really go on forever. And I think you could make the argument that NPCs like this are what make a game like an MMO feel like a proper living, breathing world. But if you took all of the NPCs that were memorable, beloved by fans, I think you could split them into two pretty clear camps. Here in Camp 1, you have the lore NPCs. These are characters that Blizzard wanted you to remember, but not everyone has so much importance in the story. Because in Camp 2, we have the misfits, baby. The characters that for whatever reason, us the fans decided would be important to the game moving forward.
We're meant to be expendable.
Not to me.
Mankrik, though, has always been an interesting one to me. He's a simple orc with a simple quest for the player: to locate his missing wife. But he's also emblematic of the iconic and notorious Barrens Chat from back in the early history of the game. And this guy was so revered and kind of memed on that Blizzard has actually given him and his little storyline continued shoutouts all the way up to today with the most recent expansion. So let's put on our floaties, everybody, and dive in together. What is up with this guy? What is his connection to Barrens Chat? How did he become a legend? How did he have a server named after him? And where the hell is his wife? When World of Warcraft first launched in 2004, it's important to remember that the player base was essentially a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off running around in a dark room. Nobody knew how to do, anything. And there was no proper online database for anything, really. Just word of mouth, forum posts, and the early stages of a couple websites attempting to catalog quests and their solutions. This new and untamed world was an amazing place to explore back then, even though I was just a kid. The awe and wonder that everyone, even seasoned boomer gamers, experienced literally took the world by storm. But along with that awe and wonder, there was definitely some frustration with certain quests. If you've played Classic, you obviously know, but you really just had your journal entry and your wits to help you out. So it was really on you to puzzle out each quest, where to go, who to talk to, what to kill, what to find, so on. So now let's set the scene, because the landscape here is as much of a character in this tale as the man himself. So if you were a Horde player, you would inevitably end up in the Barrens. Oh yes, the Barrens, the yellow and brown wasteland of walking, and more walking. This is an early game zone with a ton of quests, and whether you were an undead coming from the Eastern Kingdoms to do the Wailing Caverns dungeon or a quest, or you were an orc, tauren, or troll just progressing from your starting area, you definitely found yourself here in the Crossroads. This is the first real hub of the zone, but I've mentioned Barrens Chat a few times now, so what's the deal there? Why was this zone chat here any different than nearby Durotar, Mulgore, or hell, even some of the early Alliance zones? Well, simply put, the Barrens changes a man. This zone was, and I guess still is in Classic, so large and spanned so many levels that there would always be tons of players here toiling away. We're talking characters as low as like 7 to up to level 30 or so, and even beyond. And with everyone rolling alts and MMOs along with the constant stream of new players back in the day, the Barrens were guaranteed to be chock full of a wide variety of players at any given time. Everything from wise guys to complete newbies looking for some guidance from their fellow members of the Horde. Now add into that mix that there's a key early game dungeon here, so people would just be kind of waiting around to form groups. And as I mentioned earlier, the sheer amount of walking and downtime due to the size of the zone, and you just have a ton of idle typing fingers on your hands connected to epic gamers. A dangerous combination. Conversations ranged from political and philosophical debate to degenerate monkey poop flinging. I'm talking yo mama jokes, Chuck Norris jokes, and so on. Simply put, it was epic. There was just no telling what was going to be said at any given time, and as a middle schooler, I sat and watched in awe as seemingly grown men with families bullied and harassed 9-year-olds for asking for simple help with a quest. It was incredible. But above all else, my friends, the most common occurrence in the Barrens Chat was trolling. And this will now bring us back to Mankrik. In that hub of the Crossroads, players would immediately be sent out all different directions, killing some quillboar, some wildlife, deal with these harpies over here, go give me some mushrooms over there. But wait, because one quest stuck out like a sore-ass thumb. One not as straightforward, you could say. On the south side of the little village stands a humble orc with one very sad situation. He and his orc wife named Olgra recently found themselves locked in battle with the Quillboar. The two of them were being bested in battle, and upon seeing his wife begin to struggle and fall, Mankrik was filled with so much rage that he charged into his foes with reckless abandon, but he got bonked on the head and lost consciousness immediately. He was saved by a traveling druid who saw him down on the Gold Road, and he is now healing and camping out here in the crossroads, but is still searching for his wife. He's unsure of her fate after the battle and seems to lack any concrete memory of where the battle took place. And memes aside, this is a pretty sad quest, man. Life is hard out here in the Barrens, it seems. And Mankrik seems like a simple-hearted orc, a family man, and for his only family to be missing in action, you definitely want to help him out. There is a general direction. I mean, he says the Gold Road, but there's no suggestions of where to start, no description of the wife, what she might look like, where she may have gone if she escaped. This is it. Now, a smart person might say, okay, Quillboar, Gold Road. Let me have a look at my map. You see these little thorns? Well, based on other quests I've completed, I'd know that this is where the Quillboar camps are. Maybe I should start in those areas, create a sort of search and rescue sweep grid, zigging and zagging across the zone with a group of my friends until we find the orc wife. But most people are not very smart, myself included. We're also all collectively extremely lazy animals. I think the majority of players probably just wanted to finish this little thing and move on. So then, the most logical next step would be to ask around. I mean, hell, this is an MMO, isn't it? Now, I kid you not, this happened to me. To probably 11-year-old Ghost Charm. I was such a little dumbass, though, I probably just typed orc wife with no question mark or anything, just expecting the computer screen to produce an answer for me. But instead, I remember someone said, oh, you can find her in the inn in the crossroads, but she only shows up between midnight and 6 in the morning. Just wait there and you'll find her. I was bummed because I thought, there's no way my parents are gonna let me be on the computer that late. Darn it, I'll just move on with my journey. But then a little bit later, someone else, probably another 11-year-old, pops up and asks the same question. But this time the answer was different from the same guy. Now, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like 1,000 needles on top of the biggest needle. And then another answer. She cheated on Mankrik and moved to the Eastern Kingdoms. This was it. I had been trolled, and I know for a fact thousands of you out there had a similar experience. The combination of Barrens Chat and this extremely vague quest had inadvertently created a monster. And honestly, who can blame Barrens Chat? Horde players spent so much time here. Imagine in a 4 or 5 hour period how many times some goober would be asking about Mankrik's wife. It's inevitable that people would start to get a little annoyed and just mislead for a chuckle. But meanwhile, poor Mankrik stood there still as a statue for years, asking millions upon millions of players for help as the livelihood of the love of his life became trivialized and turned into a weapon against the ignorant. Now all of that is good, it's funny, it's fine, and definitely the reason why this simple, otherwise forgettable quest giver started to become well known and the subject of jokes in the community. But for real, let's return to the orc for just a minute. Orcs in Warcraft are often depicted as tough tribal warriors, full of honor and bloodlust, but this sense of duty to family and clan is also a huge theme, and Mankrik kind of accidentally embodies all of the above. He is in many ways the any orc of the Horde, a plain guy who wants the good things in life we all desire: love, land, and dead Quillboar. And the Quillboar are definitely annoying. I mean, they're a major thorn in the side of the Horde here, as made clear by the other quests you're given to before this, to kill tons of them. But Mankrik's quest shows that not everyone here is like you, the players. There are simple folk just living here getting dunked on by the Quillboar. And though it is subtle, it's for sure the sort of quest that humanizes, or orcizes, the storylines in a specific zone. I just think it's important not to overlook that amongst all the trolling and the memes. So the legend was born, just like that, and years of this cemented Mankrik and his wife, I guess, in the lore of the WoW community. Behold the phone! Where the hell is she? Where is Mankrik's wife?
Is she safe? Is she all right?
And this is where things turn a little sad for old Mankrik. But if you were able to find her, I would bet it was a complete accident, unless you had some help. Just off the Gold Road, you find a dead orc woman named Beaten Corpse. Yes, that's right. Even if you finally found her, would you be sure it's her? I mean, you'd expect the body to be titled like Mankrik's wife or Lost Orc Wife or something. This furthers the kind of impossible task of finding her on your own, especially if you're 11 years old, without some aid or luck. And when you finally bring the sad news back to Mankrik, he just kind of says, "I understand, thanks." That's a cold son of a gun right there. Poor fella. But his story is far from over. Moving forward to the first expansion, the Burning Crusade, an early Blood Elf quest in their starting zone required players to find a shrine that I guess some people struggled with. So players would hop in the zone chat and ask others how to find this shrine, so it began to be called the Shrine of Mankrik's Wife. The legend grows. But it wasn't until Cataclysm that Mankrik really got to cash in on the fame he had accrued. With the overhaul of the old world, Blizzard split the Barrens in two. And this sucked ass, man. I mean, it killed the zone. It lost all of its great expanses and effectively killed the Barrens Chat as well by splitting it in two. It's just a damn shame. I hated that expansion, dude. However, this overhaul to the old world saw time kind of pass from that classic era into the then modern era as far as storylines and quests, so Mankrik had finally gotten to move from his eternal standing place in the crossroads. He was then found in the northern Barrens on a small farm with an unquenchable thirst for quillboar tusks. He was tired of asking adventurers to find his wife. It was time for revenge, baby. And this is one thing I really gotta say I do like about Blizzard. They definitely know which characters have those kind of cult followings and give fans something to enjoy. We've seen this across the history of the game, even with players, but it's a really fun way for us to feel like we have influence on the world and sort of grow with some of these niche characters like Mankrik. There were a few other quests that were new involving him added in Cataclysm, all centered around Mankrik just going full Sith mode and being consumed by his madness and the quillboar. But I guess this is like the orc community, it's not necessarily frowned upon, so more power to you, bro. He also has buried and built a little shrine in memory of Olgra, which is very sweet. And he even appeared in Hyjal to help out players in a late game capacity. So Mankrik definitely got his center stage moment compared to the vanilla era. Now, quickly, lore-wise, it's theorized that he's a member of the Burning Blade clan, as he has this little flag here in Cataclysm suggesting as much. But that's kinda contradicted, because later on in Warlords of Draenor, we get to see baby Mankrik as a member of the Frostwolf clan. But of course, this is like an alternate reality, whatever the hell they tried to justify that expansion with. But hey man, he's adorable, and there's a little quest to help him out with his girlfriend, who's named Olgra. Now onwards finally to the modern era of the game, Shadowlands just recently added the newest chapter to the lore of Mankrik. The expansion as a whole explores the afterlife of many famous deceased characters, and in the coolest zone of the expansion, Maldraxxus, who else is there to be found but Mankrik's wife? So as I mentioned at the top, this infamy led to Mankrik having an entire server named after him for the launch of Classic WoW, and it's appropriately a PvE server. But what Warcraft character worth their salt hasn't made it into Hearthstone? And he's there too, baby. He's a legendary card with an appropriate effect. But I suppose, overall, the takeaway is that you never know what things are going to emerge from a fandom. Just like the Fargoth video, the most memed on, beloved, or even hated characters often come from the most unforeseen places. Thanks everyone for watching and listening to the end as always. Shout out to the patrons, as always. What are some other memorable NPCs across MMOs? Let me know down below, and I will catch you all soon. Until next time, peace!